Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're plunging into a really significant legal saga that's been going on for ages. Involves a huge name, Samsung.
A household name globally.
Exactly. We're talking about the final acquittal of Lee Jae-yong, the chairman of Samsung Electronics. It's this incredibly high-profile merger case.
And it really has been a long road.
A very long road. Nearly a decade, really, of what people call judicial risk, basically this cloud hanging over them since, what, 2015?
Right, stemming from that merger back then.
Yeah.
And for Lee himself, the indictment was September 2020.
So that's nearly 5 years just since the formal charges.
Yeah.
Our mission today, really, is to give you the shortcut. Cut through all the complexity.
There's a lot to unpack.
Definitely. We want to, lay out the accusations, walk through the legal process, the twists and turns.
And figure out what this final decision actually means.
That's the goal. Understand what this all means for global business.
Well, and what's fascinating, I think, is how a case like this, involving such a major player, it sets precedents, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It's not just about these specific events. It impacts, corporate governance, how shareholders are treated, even just how people see justice playing out in these really complex, high-level financial situations.
So this deep dive should help connect those dots for you.
Exactly. We'll try and connect those dots.
Okay, so let's unpack it. The core of this whole thing was that 2015 merger, right, between Samsung C&T and Chile Industries.
Two key Samsung affiliates, yeah.
And Lee Jae-yong was accused of some pretty serious stuff. Specifically, the claim was he deliberately manipulated Samsung C&T's share price downwards during the merger.
The allegation being that this caused losses for shareholders.
Right, and then there was more, was there? Something about accounting.
Yes, connecting to that, the prosecution also brought in alleged accounting fraud at Samsung Biologics.
Which was a subsidiary of Chile Industries.
Precisely. The idea was this was done to sort of artificially inflate Shale Industries' value.
Okay, so you have stock price manipulation, breach of trust.
False accounting, quite a list, all linked back to that 2015 merger.
And the underlying accusation across all 19 charges was what?
The fundamental claim was that the main goal behind all of these actions was specifically about strengthening his own position.
His management rights?
His management rights, and smoothing the path for his succession within the whole Samsung Group structure.
Okay. So 19 charges, indicted September 2020, kicked off almost 5 years in the courts.
A long process.
But interestingly, the lower courts, the first instance, the second instance, including the Seoul High Court, they'd already ruled in his favor, hadn't they?
They had. Both delivered not guilty verdicts.
So what was the crucial point there? What did those earlier decisions hinge on?
It consistently came down to the evidence. Or rather, the lack of it.
Insufficient evidence.
Exactly. Both courts basically concluded that the prosecution just hadn't provided strong enough proof. They couldn't definitively show that the primary purpose, the main driving force behind the merger or the alleged accounting issues, was actually Lee's succession or strengthening his control.
Not enough proof of that specific intent.
Right. So, based on that lack of conclusive evidence, they acquitted him on all 19 charges.
And now it's completely final. The Supreme Court's Third Division, they dismissed the prosecution's appeal just recently, July 17th.
With presiding Justice Oh Sika-chen, that dismissal upholds the lower court's findings.
Unequivocally. So final acquittal confirmed for Lee and 13 others involved too.
Yes, it wasn't just him.
And this definitively, finally wraps up that whole decade of judicial risk hanging over Samsung since 2015.
It does. Samsung's legal team put out a statement pretty much immediately after,
Brian White.
confirming that from their perspective, this final ruling officially establishes the legality of both the merger and the biologics accounting. It removes any lingering legal question marks.
So the big takeaway here is,
The core takeaway is crystal clear. The highest court has affirmed the legality of what Samsung did back then. It ends a decade of intense legal scrutiny, uncertainty.
which must be a huge relief for the company.
Undoubtedly. And it also potentially sets a really high bar for prosecutors, maybe globally.
How so?
Well, improving the intent behind these kinds of complex corporate restructurings, especially where family succession is involved, it suggests that just because a merger might benefit a controlling family member,
That's not enough on its own.
it seems not without really solid, irrefutable evidence of illegal intent driving the whole thing.
Yep.
Perceived benefit isn't the same as proven illegal purpose.
Right. So let's bring this back to you listening. What does this all mean for you? What's the significance of such a clear final ruling in a huge corporate case like this one?
Hmm.
I mean, think about the implications for the wider business world, maybe for shareholder rights, or even just how we perceive justice when finance gets this complicated and the stakes are this high.
Yeah, it really does raise a big question, doesn't it? We're in a time where everyone's talking more and more about corporate transparency, about accountability.
Definitely. It's under a huge spotlight.
So, what does a final verdicts like this actually signal for how these massive global conglomerates operate, especially when it comes to tricky things like leadership succession or major corporate restructuring?
Does it give them more leeway, perhaps? Or does it just clarify the existing boundaries?
That's the question to ponder, I think. Does it empower them or simply redefine the lines of what can be legally challenged when they're pursuing growth and restructuring? Something to think about.